That means we're going to increase by 4x. So we're going to go from about 120 million in revenue to close to 500 million in revenue. And that is quite significant for Hive having a very small group of strategic technical people.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. Joining me is Hive Digital Technologies Executive Chairman Frank Holmes. Frank, great to speak with you as always. Lots of news about your growing operations in Paraguay, new country president there, and also completion of your Iguazu acquisition. Tell us more about Gabriel Lamas.
Well, Gabriel is an electrical engineer who speaks 3 languages. He has an expertise, especially in high voltage. So what happens when we get the opportunity to go into a country like Paraguay, in particular, is that you have to build the infrastructure. So the biggest dam in the Western Hemisphere is there, and now you have power lines, but now you have to turn around to run data centers. You have to build a substation. So that helps the overall economy. Then you have other transformers so that you go from high voltage down to a low voltage. We needed a leader to be able to run that for us. He's got expertise in the country. He's got expertise in high voltage. I described him as like a Navy SEAL. He gets up every morning at 5 a.m. to work out. He was a rugby champion for the country. So he's a wonderful addition to our team. And we run a very small team in managing all of our complexes.
And great to have him on the ground in Paraguay, Frank. Tell us a bit more about Paraguay. We've chatted about it before, but about Paraguay as a destination or for you to operate in, because you, as you said, you're investing a lot in the economy there, and obviously growing this green energy operation.
Well, it's hard to get there, and that's probably the opportunity. Otherwise, I think all the competition would have been there. It's hydroelectricity, so that's very important for our strategies to be green only. And we have the ability, and what we're doing is to help the economy. We will become the largest buyer of electricity, and there's surplus electricity in that country. If they don't use it, it basically goes to Brazil. So all of a sudden, our facilities are going to be able to fund the utility company, and they get stable US dollars every month. So everyone wins. The country wins, the communities win. We'll have up to 100 employees in that area. We're training technicians of people how to run data centers. So the country is unique because it has a 5-kilometer dam that makes a lot of electricity. 50% goes to Brazil, 50% goes to Paraguay, but if they don't use it, it goes to Brazil. They turn around and were selling it to other countries like Argentina, but they weren't getting paid. So now they're going to get paid every month in US dollars. So it's a win-win for Hive shareholders because we want to only have green renewable energy and relatively attractive prices for us. So that's what we like about it. And we have a strong leader now to be able to run the operations and build the team in Paraguay.
And of course, Gabriel's appointment comes as you wrap up the Iguazu acquisition. So tell us a bit more about what you've acquired there and how it expands your capacity in Paraguay.
Well, Paraguay is predominantly agricultural. They export a lot of agricultural and beef to Asia, in particular Taiwan is their strategic relationship that they have. The country is very stable. The president of the country is a young guy, he's about 47 years old, went to University of Columbia in New York, worked for the IMF. He understands global banking and investing. So he's a wonderful person and showing the stewardship and leadership for this country.
Okay, so your expanded mining capacity with the Iguazu acquisition, Frank?
You know, it's interesting. Yes, we have 6 exahash. Means that we're producing over 3.5 Bitcoin a day, but we're going to increase that to about 3% of the global network. That means we're going to increase by 4x. So we're going to go from about 120 million in revenue to close to 500 million in revenue. And that is quite significant for Hive having a very small group of strategic technical people. And the other half of the team right now, I just flew in from NVIDIA. So we're so busy making this major acquisition, which is going to increase our 4x our revenue, but also we're building out our high performance computing. And I think that'll be the next step in Paraguay after we build out this facility in the next 9 months, is to look at building out for high performance computing in Paraguay.
So that's 25 exahash per second that you're aiming for by September. That also includes your Valenzuela project, and that's set to become operational by June. So how's that progressing?
Beautifully. And we probably show a picture yesterday in the press release of showing a transformer being delivered to the operations, and every other day we get photos from drones showing you how the property is developing. We're very, very pleased with how fast things are going. And the other part, Stephen, we'll bring in there is we're going to bring in standards of care for running utility, or not, for running data centers that you would have in US. Those high standards of care from electricity, from managing the facilities. So we have a huge educational program for all the workers that'll be there. So that's another win for the country.
And I suppose for Hive, great growth potential if you look forward to the rest of 2025.
Well, let's put it in context. We're doing about 6 million in revenue per employee, and that will increase to over 20 million. NVIDIA does 3.5 million in revenue per employee. Apple's 2.5 million. So from a revenue per employee, will be quite significant as in that upper end, like gold royalty companies are. So I'm pleased about that. But all this tariff turmoil, the stock market, along with Bitcoin having a correction, we got knocked down to almost our cash per share in our Bitcoin. And so I think it's just a unique opportunity, as Warren Buffett would say, well, when there's fear out there, that's when you turn around to look to invest. And I think we have probably the strongest growth in revenue over the next 9 months of all the Bitcoin miners.
Well, Frank, I hope you will keep us posted on progress as 2025 continues. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
Thank you for listening to our story.
That's Frank Holmes, Executive Chairman of Hive Digital Technologies.